Mayor Braun.
Thank you, Peter, and good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we are located on the traditional territories of the Tsemeth, Matsqui, and Lakamo First Peoples. I'm Henry Braun, the Mayor of the City of Abbotsford, and as you just heard, joining me today is our City Manager, Peter Sparanese. Earlier today, I was at the Barrowtown Pump Station and witnessed firsthand the incredible work that was done by our staff, volunteers, and the residents of Barrowtown last week. They may be small in number, but they are mighty. I have to say that after my visit to Barrowtown this morning, I have a whole new appreciation for just how close we came to this disaster being much, much worse. We came extremely close to losing this absolutely critical piece of infrastructure. Again, I cannot thank the staff at Barrowtown enough for their efforts, as well as the residents and volunteers who came out to sandbag last week. I did have the opportunity to meet some of the volunteers this morning. They were out there, and I am very much looking forward to having the opportunity to thank them, all of the volunteers who participated in the sandbagging efforts, both from Chilliwack and from Abbotsford, in person. Please know that your efforts are so very greatly appreciated. We do have some updated photos from Barrowtown that have been shared with media today, and I believe we have one from the Fraser Valley Current that we are putting up on our YouTube feed right now, which visually explains how the Barrowtown pump station and the floodgate systems work. I simply can't express how vital this pump station is to our community. I'm very happy to be able to share with you some good news. The floodgates are now fully open at Barrowtown, which means that at this point, water is flowing straight from the Sumas River into the Fraser River. The dike repair work that has now reached a point where the water from the Sumas River is no longer flowing into the Sumas Prairie Lake bottom. Although there is much more work that still needs to be completed to reinforce the dike, as the Sumas River levels are now rising due to the fact that the water is no longer flowing into Sumas Prairie Lake bottom. The Barrowtown pumps are continuing to operate fully, and water is being continuously pumped out of Sumas Prairie into the Fraser River at full capacity. With all of these efforts, we saw water levels drop this morning on the eastern portion of Sumas Prairie by 3 inches in the first 6 hours. The large dike breach near number 3 has been sealed, although the work continues along that portion to build it to its full height, approximately 3 meters higher than it currently is, which is close to 10 feet. And the repairs to Cole Road breach, which was smaller, is nearing completion to full height. The South Sumas dike west of Atkinson Road, which has significant damage, has started to be repaired. This is a critical piece of the repair that needs to take place. And the Canadian Forces military personnel continue to work to support our flood mitigation efforts. Locally, troops will be scheduled to start cleaning some of the culverts and debris over the next few days. As of today, our structural engineers have assessed all accessible bridges that may have been impacted by water levels, and our geotechnical engineers have inspected more than 70 kilometers of roads and 158 culverts. Again, we need the water levels to abate to be able to continue much of this work. There's still a 5-6 foot depth lakes out there. Alongside all of this work, we also have crews still focused on making repairs to the drinking water system, although the boil water advisory remains in place, and we need the water levels to continue to drop to support this work. Finally, we continue to work closely with other levels of government, including the Ministry of Agriculture, as they begin some of the recovery efforts and provide additional supports for our farmers. And I know Minister Popham spoke to some of those efforts in her briefing yesterday. With all this good news, we are still a long way from being out of danger, which is why today I've extended the local state of emergency for another week through November 29. As you all know, the situation here remains fluid, and a key component of how well we are able to keep things moving in a positive direction is directly related to how much our weather continues to cooperate. We are in the process of establishing some more detailed weather projections from Environment Canada for the week to come so that we can be as ready as possible. As of today, over 800 people have checked in with the reception centers supporting the evacuation from Sumas Prairie, both here in Abbotsford at Tradex and in Chilliwack at the Chilliwack Landing Sports Center. At the last update yesterday, we had approximately 200 people who have utilized supports through the Tradex Emergency Support Services, and today we expect more than 45 people to stay overnight. A week into this emergency, I am truly grateful for all of the amazing staff who have been working literally day and night to address the impacts of this unprecedented situation. I continue to hear from people who desperately want to help in this situation. For those who are wondering how they can support some of the recovery efforts taking place across our country, please visit our website, which has the latest information on how you can do this, and it is continually updated with new opportunities. And you can do that by visiting our site at abbotsford.ca. As work progresses, we will continue to share photos and facts during our press conferences on the City of Abbotsford website and our social media channels. That is my update for today, and I will now take any questions that you have. Could you just wait for the mic, because I've had a few people say they can't hear the question, only my answer.
In regards to the pump station, how is debris, if at all, affecting it?
Sorry, how?
How is the debris from the floods affecting the pump station?
Well, I'll maybe let the city manager, there's people out there that are picking debris out of the water. Well, maybe that's really the answer you're looking for. There was 2 men there when I was there. There's a lot of stuff. There's logs all over the freeway, stumps, you name it, plastics, tanks, all sorts of stuff. So yes, there's people looking to keep that away from the intake.
So just so I can clarify this in my head, so the one area, you've stopped the water from flowing through it, but they're still building it up, is that correct?
Yes, it's, I don't know, 2.5 feet above the water line. But because the water is now not going through the breach, the Sumas River, the Sumas River is now rising, which is what it's supposed to do, because the water is still coming in from the west. I should say this, the water has stopped coming across the border.
Right, so you've got that one where they're continuing to build it up. You've got, I think it's the Cole Road, where they're still working on the repairs, but they've stopped the gap there as well.
It's hard for me to hear with your mask on.
Oh.
So the breach has been sealed, so the water can't go through there, and they will continue to build on that dike, both width and height. We've got to raise it up to the former level 3 meters, so that's just under 10 feet.
Right. There's a second area where there's a breach.
Oh, yes,
however.
that one is, I thought I mentioned
Yeah,
that.
you
but
did, but that one, again, they've stopped
we're almost
the
at
flow
full height.
there,
Yep.
and so they're just continuing to build it up.
Well, they're almost at full height. That was a much smaller job. This was a monumental task that we undertook and are still undertaking, because it'll take a few more days to get, well, I don't want to start speculating, but we need to get this all done before the next weather system.
Okay. And how many people remain out of how many properties, how many people remain out of their homes then?
I don't have that information,
Okay.
but we can offline, we can get you that
Yeah.
information.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has the weather been better than expected at this point? And we see sunshine, and maybe what risk does rain in the next couple days pose at this point?
Well, the next day or so is not a problem, but come what day is this today? Sunday. I think the weather is coming in Tuesday, starting, but Wednesday, Thursday looks like we're gonna get between 80 and 100 millimeters of water in the next 4 days. If it's spread out over 4 days and the water doesn't come back over the border, I think I'm optimistic that the system is currently working the way it's supposed to. So our fingers are crossed, and we hope. Now, if 100 millimeters came in 24 hours, that's a problem, a big problem, because the water is going to come back over the border.
So it sounds like you're still quite worried about what this next significant rainfall could mean.
Well, I'm very concerned about it, absolutely. All right, appears that's it. Thank you very much for coming, and tomorrow's briefing will be at 2 p.m. Thank you.